This is EJ Snyder, six-time Naked Afraid legend, extreme survivalist, and 25-year Army combat vet. Now you get ready for me to be on the Kilted Preppers podcast, and you better not miss it, because if you do, I'm going to come find you and I'm going to crush your skull. Yeah!
Here, Kilted Prepper, how's everybody doing? Boy, do I have a special interview for you today. We have none other than the badass goat, EJ Snyder of Naked and Afraid. Six times, man, he's done it. He's been a master sergeant, first sergeant. He's been jumping out of planes. He's been doing the ranger stuff. I mean, this guy is the goat. So welcome to the show, EJ. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me, Ray. I appreciate it. Glad to be here with everyone. Salutes to everybody. We just came off Veterans Day. For all you veterans out there, thanks for what you've done and what you continue to do. I work with a lot of veteran programs, trying to help veterans that are in need in terms of, we got a lot of homeless vets out there, a lot of folks that aren't feeling too good about themselves and we're losing a little bit more. It used to be 22 a day. I think that number's climbed a little bit now in terms of losing folks to suicide. So just want to say prayers and salutes to everybody out there that's ever served and still serving now.
Yep. So, and Afraid, I have to be honest, we've been binging your show, just preparing for this interview and everything.
Oh, wow.
And we haven't got to like the third XL or something like that. But
I don't know, there's been 9 or something like that now. And I was on 3 of them.
Yeah. But my wife, it's funny. The first season show with you and who was that? That was Kelly.
Jeff? Oh, Kelly. Yeah, that was the first ever Naked Afraid ever filmed. That was the pilot episode.
Yep.
Sure was.
My wife was like, she enjoys prepping and everything, but she's not all into the bushcraft and all that stuff. And so she was like, wow, man. But it's funny with the second one of XL, Naked Afraid XL, she's like, oh, let's watch another. I mean, we've been binging it. Watch another. And so she just can't get enough and things. So
that's awesome.
It's been
if you go out enough times, you develop, you wind up with a necklace looking like this.
How
a
cool.
Champion's necklace. It's got one bead from each of my different ventures out there, and then a artifact from each animal that I've had encounters with out there. Everything from this jaguar's tooth, because I've had a jaguar stalk me twice since each time I was in the Amazon. I've got a black bear claw. I've got 2 wolf's fangs up there. I got an alligator tooth and 2 caiman teeth. And all these creatures I have a lot of respect for. They stalked me, they hunted me, and some of them even kept me fed. So I wanted to share that with you. That's my champion's necklace.
That's pretty cool. How many people have one of those? Not many.
Not many. No, probably. I think there's only 3 of us that have 6 challenges and no taps. And then there's Laura Zera has 5 challenges, no taps. And I don't think there are any more perfect records above that level. You'd be hard pressed to find them. Everyone's either had something happen or a tap or at least one time where they faltered. Doesn't mean that they're not great people or great survivalists. It's just stuff happens. You get sick or injured or something, So
How did you go about getting involved with Naked and Afraid? How were you cast, I guess?
Well, what happened was when I was in the Army in Hawaii, my last duty station, I needed another hobby. I was older. I liked MMA fighting. They didn't want me to fight anymore because I was in mid-40s, getting to my mid-40s. And then I liked to surf, but you can't do that all the time. And, I always loved, as a kid, I wanted to be an actor and a stuntman. So I had an opportunity from a friend that was a stunt coordinator for the TV show Lost. I got into doing stunt work and acting. I wound up as a minor character on the TV show Lost, did some films, was doing commercials. So when I came back and retired, I was back in the States. I was still trying to do that. I was working at the Special Warfare Center as a SEER instructor as a contractor. And I was trying to do that on the side. Well, I was a huge fan of this TV show, Survivor. Probably applied 15 times, very competitive, wanted to get out there. I finally made the final cast for season 21. And at the last minute, they replaced me with Jimmy Johnson, the football coach. That's not something you do to a guy from Jersey who was a Giants fan. But I get it. I was just retired from the military. You got Jimmy Johnson, a football coach. You got this ugly mug right here. So they went with the coach. And then my name started floating around the reality world with these casting directors as a known character, former military, he's a survival guy. And I started getting cast for different shows and hit up. Eventually, Discovery found me, and they tried me out when they replaced the first one of the first original hosts from Dual Survival, Dave Canterbury. So they were looking for another military wing guy to come in and take his place. So they tried me out with 4 other guys. One of them was Joe Tedeye. For whatever reason, the network liked Joe a little bit more than I for, his resume, which was a little bit spooky. And it turned out later on that he had embellished his resume and was, really wasn't, he didn't have the survival skills like I did. The production company's like, oh, EJ, he's got the skills. He's got the bona fide military background, but Discovery had the last say in it and they picked him over me. And, it's what it was. He fit the role against Cody and, they told me, hey, you're really qualified. We think we got something else for you. And I was like, all right, I'm here when you need me. And then eventually they called me. I was coming off a show called 72 Hours. It was an adventure survival race. And they're like, hey, we got this new show. It's Extreme Survival Challenge. We think you're perfect for it. And we need you to help us build it and consult on it and kind of help us produce it because we know you've got a film background. I'm like, all right, well, let's go do this. And so they kind of brought me out to LA. They brought 4 different women in the room with me. And we did these weird team building tests. And next thing I know, I'm on my way exactly this January will be 10 years. Wow. 10 years. Can you believe it? For a show to do that well on Discovery, 10 years. I met Kelly Neitlinger, my first partner, out there in the Serengeti plains of Tanzania in Africa. And
was that the first time you ever met her then? I mean,
well, I met her in LA. And she was one of the 4. And I guess they were trying to figure out the pairings for the first season. They knew they had their primary person. They were trying to match up the number 2 person. Not that she was number 2, but I think they were just trying to figure out who went with who. And I wound up seeing Kelly. That was the second time I'd seen her. We hadn't chatted prior to going out there. Neither one of us knew what the heck. I think and it was, since it was the pilot, there was a lot of extra production on it in the front end and the back end because they need to figure out all the rest of the episode they're going to film from this one. I think I threw my clothes into that truck painfully probably 5 times. I'm like, you haven't gotten it already? I mean, I'm just taking my clothes off here. So the last time I threw my shoe into the truck and off it went and the dust blew and I looked out in the distance and saw my partner way out there and I started walking to her. I'm thinking, man, what's my mom going to think about this? Am I still going to have a job working for the Army when I get done with this? Am I going to have a stool at the VFW when I get done? Are they going to disown me? And then I stepped on my first thorn, and I knew this was going to be a lot of pain. And really, I was either going to be the biggest goat, meaning a dud, or the goat for doing this bravely. And I just embraced it. I was like, what? My first time in Africa, no better way to safari than do it naked. And I met Kelly, and I didn't know how she was going to take things or how I was. And the nudeness part didn't really bother me much, but I didn't know how we were going to break the ice on this thing. And Kelly was great. What does she do? She just leaps over and gives me this big hug around my neck. And you can see I'm a little bit like, oh, well, okay. And that was great because it eased whatever tension we had was gone. And off we went into the savannah, up into the brush to figure out how to live 21 days. It was very overwhelming, to say the least. Cameras in your face. You're trying to build a show. No one's ever done it before. And so that was a lot of pressure. Plus, I was helping produce it and consult with the other producers about it because I just had a lot of experience doing tech advising on film and different things like that. So, I'm proud of that though, because we got it right. Me and Kelly, we're going into our 15th season of 21 days. I think our 10th season of XLs and a whole bunch of specials sprinkled in out there. And that's pretty amazing to be a part of.
Yep. No, definitely, definitely. So, kind of going backwards a little bit. I mean, what were your first thoughts of when the producer said, "Hey, you're going to get naked and you're going to go out and survive"? I mean, were you like,
well, it was kind of like I had a lot of meetings with the producers because we were trying to figure out how we are going to do this thing. And it started out, "Oh, it's Naked and Afraid." I'm like, that's a stupid title for a show. "Oh, it's just a placeholder." I'm like, yeah, why don't we call it Bear Survival or something where it's a play on words? But even before that, it was like, we're going to have minimal gear. Then we're going to take your backpack away. Oh, then we're going to take your jackets away. Oh, then you're not going to have a shirt. Oh, we're going to take your shoes away. Now you're down to your underwear. Next thing I know, now we're in our derrieres, and here we are. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. We're really going to do this. And I remember when they told me when we were out there, they were like, "Okay, take your clothes off, throw them in the back of the truck." I'm like, "Oh, you guys are serious." All right, well, you guys are paying, I'm playing, so here we go.
Trip, man, trip. So what does your family think? When you did your first show, what did your family think about, "Oh man, here's EJ, he's going out and getting naked and afraid"?
Well, everyone that's been been a part of my life, everyone that loves me, supports me, and it was, it was just, that's our crazy dad. Like, my kids were just like, try being on a roller coaster with that guy when you were a kid, because I've always been this way. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is the way you're just a big act on TV." It's like, no, this is really who I am and how I live my life. And so I've had great support through it all. We really got beat up pretty bad because nobody saw the show before. And then finally GMA did a little commercial on it. People started to understand. And for those people out there that say, "Oh, it's all scripted, it's BS, this and that," there are some reality shows out there. And I hate that we're classified in the reality genre. We're really a docuseries because we're documenting what two real people go out and get put in front of and have to do. If you don't find it, you're not eating that night. If you mess up your shelter, you get rained on, you're going to be messed up. So it's the most real survival challenge along with Alone out there. I believe a little bit more difficult than Alone.
Mm-hmm.
You give me 20 items and see how long I'll stay out there. I'll be out there for a freaking year. But we go out there with very little and just our wits and a few items, and we got to live like man did 10,000 years ago, probably longer. And it is a very real challenge. The injuries are real. You do have a safety net there with a production crew. It is TV. We don't want to see anybody die, but people have been put into some jeopardy. And I damn near tore my testicles off out there, got them stitched up and stayed. So it happens. And there is a medical crew, but they always have the last word on certain situations. But with me, I attack it as it's very real and what it is. And I don't ever, if anyone comes around me trying to, say this or that, you're not telling me what to do. I'm out here. I know what I got to do. And they normally don't, some people, I'm sure they've have to prod out there. I've never had that experience in 206 days out there because I'm active and this is what I do. People are like, "Oh, I go out all the time in the wild practicing what I teach and catching content because I want people to be able to see that I put myself in there so you don't have to be an expert, but you need the knowledge, and I need to put myself out there to show that it can be done." Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable how many people try to do videos and they're in their backyard, and that's great and all, but unless you really get out there and test yourself on excursions, and put yourself in harm's way, that's the best way to do your, you build your skill set and your confidence by doing that.
Yeah. Well, my motto is real prepping for real people, because what we've been seeing recently in a lot of the prepper arena is all this cool guy gear and all this other stuff. And it's not realistic. It's not there for the real person. And it doesn't really serve purposes or anything. But back to Naked and Afraid, how hard was the Human Dynamics? I mean, and several of the XL, I mean, you were working with 12 people.
Yeah. I mean,
how get any fights or anything like that?
Well, the thing for me is I have a wealth of experience, a wealth of dealing with people. I've got very good people skills. I've had them my whole life. I grew up in Jersey. I've was a camp counselor for a while. as a senior leader in the Army, I've dealt with people from all backgrounds, all walks of life. I'm a very open-minded person. I don't judge anybody. I accept everyone for face value and what they present to me. And I can smell out bullshit if you put it out there. If you're lying to me, you're trying to sell me a bridge that is going to fall down, I'm going to know. So I only ask people to come at me honestly, give me a fair day's work, put in your best. So when you only have two people or even three, that's a little easier to work through. You got to be patient. You got to come to understanding. I'm a hardhead too. I'm a knuckle dragger. And even like you could see with me and Kelly, we had some struggles. I was more militant in those days. I just got out of the military, and she taught me really to come better down. I'm always the gentleman. So if anybody says I'm not a gentleman, that's a lie. I'm not a chauvinist. I'm very understanding. How men and women operate differently. When I'm with other men, I'm going to operate a certain way because it's guys, and now it's always beating chest and who's this and that. And that's just how we are. Men are more logical thinking. Mm-hmm. Women, it's a fact. They're more emotional thinking on the side of things. I'm not saying there's not exceptions to the rule. So when I'm dealing with women, I've got to get in touch with my more sensitive side and be more receptive to that. Not saying they're not tough. Kelly is a tough lady. Man, she is strong and she was hardy. But, I'm kind of emotional too. You see me crying out there. But then when you're dealing with more people, dynamics, I've dealt with it all. A mix of men and women, a mix of women and a mix of just men. So again, the guys, it's like, it's boys camp, sausage fest. Here we are, hey, we're boys out, and we having a boys weekend. And I enjoy that level of it. Sometimes the testosterone and the trying to one-upsmanship everyone, and I'm guilty of that myself, happens. When I've been with the ladies, as we saw in the swamps, there's a little bit more talking. There's a little bit more ear bleeding, but I wear my emotions on my sleeve as an Italian man. That's what we do. And so for me, I go back and I've got to deal with those things, and I got to deal with the women a little differently from my point of view as a big ogre. So what I do is I go back, you see me on diary cam, I'm working through my things in my head, and everyone's like, you're talking behind my back. I'm like, no. The audience can't understand what's in my head, so I share it on diary cam, and that's just me openly working through it, because even in real life, I talk myself through things. All right, Snyder, what are you going to do now? Okay, you got to do this, you got to do that. Okay. And then I will have the producers kind of connect the dots, and then I'm going to go back and address the person. I did it with Suzanne. When Laura, in the first time I was in the Amazon, and I was trying to lighten the situation with some humor, and she didn't take kindly to it, I had to go regroup and come back and apologize and come down to meet her in the weeds on that emotional thing. And then I offended her, but teamwork was much more important to me than eating a stupid eel. I'd have threw that thing back in the Amazon than sacrifice the team. And then with Suzanne, I had to go down and just say, look, you're kind of annoying, you're irritating. But I didn't understand her point of it. She was like, I don't want to be a sidekick. I never viewed you as a sidekick. You're a capable lady. And then right after that, things were like flowing well, and we had great conversations. Sadly, none of it showed up on the TV, but it just, when you're dealing with that many people, human dynamics is part of survival. You have to compromise. Everyone has a say, and everybody's, opinions matter, but sometimes you have to make the tough decision. Somebody has to take charge and has to call the dirty pool game. And, not everybody can be the limelight for every moment. It's a delicate balance. And the last one, I was twice the age of everybody out there, had just as much energy as them. And, I gratefully have a lot of respect for my tribe mates, for my experience and what I've gone through and where I've been in life, that at least they had that respect for me, that, and I have a lot of knowledge, and I just got to appreciate it. And I've been pulled so many people aside to have conversations about them missing their family. How can I deal with this? To learning from them as well about different survival tactics and employing stuff. And when you show people that you're not above them, that you can learn from them and that they matter, that's how you get big groups through the situation. You got to keep everyone's morale up. And when you have people that are irritating each other, you got to get people aside and say, look, man, you need another approach. Some people, you can't get through it. I mean, like my brother Shane from season 1 of XL. Me and that guy, in season 1, he was the last guy I ever thought I'd talk to him on the planet. And we were yelling at each other one day on the phone. I'd call each other names and this and that. And then as soon as we were done, we're like, "You good? Yeah, I'm good. You good? Yeah. Let's call you tomorrow. Yeah, call me tomorrow." We've been friends for over 10 years now. He's my brother. And people don't some quite understand him. He's a complex man, but he's also a very kind and loving, got a lot of love in his heart. And he's a man, that guy's loyal as they come. He take a bullet for you. So I've made some really good friends over the years through this thing. I have a very tight circle of folks from the show that most people don't even want to be around. But it seems that the craziest of sorts make me smile the most, and I find them the most interesting. Shane's my brother, Gary, and I still hang out. From time to time, me and Jeff hang out. Different folks from the show I stay in touch with, and they know they can call me or send me a message, and I'll be there for them.
That I was thinking about it is that you had 21 days, 40 days, and then 60 days. Would the 60 days seem a lot easier than the 40? Because I was thinking that once you hit that 40 mark, you kind of hit that groove. You kind of hit that daily schedule. Okay, now the day we, it's morning time, pick up berries, afternoon time, go fishing, start fire. So you kind of get into that schedule. Did you find that doing the 60 days was, quote unquote, maybe easier, or was it actually tougher?
I mean, it's a way of life out there. 21 days, by the time you hit 10 days, you're halfway in. It takes you 7 to 10 days to learn your zone. And unfortunately, with TV filming of survival, you have a big human footprint. And you got them following behind you to hunt. So that makes it kind of difficult. And the animals will sense that there's something going on. They leave the area about that time when you're just getting in your groove to hunt them down. So that's what makes hunting a little more difficult out there. But at about 30 days, you're clicking. Hey, this is what our routine is. We got to get firewood, got to have water, try and get some food, shelter repair, that kind of thing. And so you're getting your routine, and you're just about clicking your routine. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's day 40. We got to extract. So it's like, I was really just starting to hit there. And so you're right about that in one sense, that the 60 days, the mark. But on our 60-day challenge, after I hit the 40-day mark, I think it was actually 45 days, I think, maybe 46. Me and Max left the swamp area where I had been my home for 6 weeks to go find another area, and we got everybody else in. Now it was start all over. Got to build a shelter. Let's get out here and get after food. And it was getting very, very cold. So I think if we would have stayed in my original camp for the whole 60 days, it would have been like, wow, this is our home. We've been working it. Just like Dan had been in his camp in the Amazon my last challenge I did, where I did 43 days. He wound up there he did 40 and said, I'm going to do 60. I'm going to stay the 60. And he was there for 60 days. So that was his house. So that was pretty cool to see what they built, and how you can really, as a society, you don't need all those things. You can build with very little, a bit of ingenuity and blood, sweat, and tears, and you can build something nice.
Mm-hmm. I see that you do a lot of shows with Jeff. Are you guys like best buds and everything, or basically, who's kind of your favorite naked and afraid contestant? And if you want to plead the fifth on this one, that's okay.
I said, I have a lot of folks I've spent a good bit of time with out there. And so my top core folks, they're dear to my heart. And it's usually everyone that I kind of was out there with. Jeff, for instance, is like my kid brother. I had my kid brother who passed many years ago in 92. His name was Jeff, ironically. So Jeff's my crazy kid brother. He's the one that, what are you doing that for? Hey, but I still love him. But Shane, again, has a special place in my heart. Hakeem lives in my town. So, we've always been close. And then, I've always wanted to journey with Matt, got to do that really full time this last one. Steven, I have probably quite a bit of time with out there. I think even more so than Jeff. You was number one. I think it's Steven. I've got the most time with out there on these challenges, and he's another like my little kid brother. And Laura was a blessing to be out there with. Possibly, she's an amazing survivalist. Clearly, the top female on the planet. She's definitely up there in the top 10 of survivalists on this planet. She is a wonderful spirit and great of skill.
So let's talk a little bit about your military career and all that fun you had, and jumping out of planes, eating snakes, and high speed, low drag into operated stuff. So you were in the Army. So what units, we were talking earlier off camera, units were you in?
Well, I started my career in the 82nd Airborne Division, did 7 years with those guys, ran through the ranks very quickly. After 7 years, I started out as an E2 when I got to the unit, and I left as a platoon sergeant, and I was a staff sergeant promotable, meaning I was ready for sergeant first class stripes at 6 years, 9 months in the Army. Wow. If you can believe that. Super fast. I was in the infantry. I was a Pathfinder, jump master, ranger. Went on to do 2 years as a drill sergeant right after I got back from the first 1991 Gulf War. Earned the Bronze Star during that campaign. Did 2 years as a drill sergeant. Went on to be a ranger instructor down in Florida. I was sent to formal survival training at the SEER School. Became a primary survival instructor and tracking instructor at the swamps of Florida. Did that for about almost 3 years. Went off to the 10th Mountain Division. Wound up becoming a first sergeant in the 10th Mountain Division. Tried to get back in the Rangers. They didn't have any slots open. I've tried 4 times to serve in the 75th Regiment. And they sent me to the Old Guard, where I served in Arlington Cemetery, honoring the fallen. It was an amazing unit, an amazing time. And I really enjoyed that honor. From there, I went to the Sergeant Major Academy and out in Texas. And after a year at the academy, the senior level of executive leadership for the enlisted corps, I wound up finding myself in Hawaii for almost 8 years. Wow. And then that's when I went back to Iraq and earned a second Bronze Star for doing 15 months in northern Iraq in the Kirkuk province. So loved my time in the military. Been to probably well over 30 or 40 different military schools, have over 50 medals and decorations, earned the Order of St. Centurion level, retired with a Legion of Merit at the rank of Sergeant Major, and loved leading from the front and in your face, led by example every step of the way. And they didn't call me the Skull Crusher for nothing. So had a very storied career, very honored, humbled, and influenced a lot of soldier over my time, and still do to this day. Was an athlete throughout my career in the military. Did a lot of fighting. I was doing MMA before they called it MMA, and loved the sport of fighting. And it was just a part of me.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Infantry. I started out 11 Hotel, switched to 11 Bravo, partway through, even got credit as 11 Charlie for a little bit of time. And then you finish up as an 11 Zulu as a senior infantry sergeant. So. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought, or did you ever think about going SF?
I tried. Like I said earlier, I outranked myself. I kept making ranks so fast that they weren't taking sergeant first classes after a while. So it was like, then after a while, they say, well, we'll take sergeant first classes with 2 years in. And then I was in 4 years as a sergeant first class. And it was like, well, if you want to come here, you got to be an officer. So I actually, when they told me that, I actually went and clept and Dante'd a bunch of college classes and got my 60 credit hours just by testing out. And then I put my packet in to go to OCS, and they were like, well, why do you want to be an officer? And the guy on the board, one of them was a Green Beret, a major. And I was like, because I want to wear what you're wearing. I want to be Special Forces. I want to be a Green Beret, or I want to go to Delta Force. And they were like, well, you have to be an officer to do that? I'm like, yeah. So put me in the Transportation Corps as a second lieutenant, because that's the fastest way to captain. And then I want to go to SF. I guess they figured I wanted more money or something, and they made me a master sergeant, and I didn't never got to be an officer. I don't know if that would have took so well, but I was willing to give it a shot because I really wanted to be in the Special Forces. So I was really a special kind of soldier in the regular Army, and I wish I could have did that, but it just wasn't in the cards.
Yep. So what was your favorite duty station then?
Um, I loved surfing, so I found it very privileged to go there and live and be stationed there and to serve there and get to experience that because most people don't ever get to go there and
Mm-hmm.
to live there and to my kids grew up there pretty much. It was pretty amazing place.
Mm-hmm. That was kind of like the Hilton Hotel of duty stations and everything, and at
Yeah, I
least
guess so.
what we were said and everything.
I mean, I liked all my duty stations for various reasons. Because when I went to a duty station, I just learned the local culture, got in touch with the history of the place. I'm a big history buff. I've loved learning about the native people of the areas where I was at. I'm a big outdoorsman, so I'm always out there in the wilderness learning that stuff or getting out there hiking, learning, staying in the mountains, and just being a part of nature.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let's see here. Home and Gardens, brand new publication, and you just wrote. You just joined their team of experts, and
Sure did.
I mean, I have to admit, I just joined the team. I'm very honored to be with you. I think Michael Hawk,
We're
as
glad to
well.
have you.
Your Sal Hakim also just joined, also. So he's on there. Did you help him get onto that, or is that just something he did?
He applied and he was talking about going on, and that's when we first met. And I was like, he's very inquisitive. He's an old intel guy in the special ops where he was psyops and stuff. So he's a ninja. A ninja's
Mhm.
going to learn. He's going to take every advantage he can. So he was picking my brain, and he went out and did very well in the Himalayas. And then we wound up on XL1 together out in Colombia. And I was just so tickled to be out there with my brother. And then unfortunately the heat got to him. He was just came off training. Training. He was competing in a martial arts tournament. So his body was very lean. He was,
Yeah,
and I think that, I was having trouble with the heat too, but I think that really whacked him.
yeah.
But he has so much amazing knowledge. He's a great human being. He has such patience and calmness with people. And I've enjoyed getting to know him over the years, and he's a great asset to have on our team.
Mm-hmm. So you just wrote a really good article on at Survival Home and Gardens dealing with bugging in, and I have to admit I'm one of these people who I am not a fan of bugging out. So many people have got these great big old gigantic backpacks, and I'm going to bug out. And one of my first questions all the time, well, where are you bugging out to?
Right, exactly.
And it seems that almost like 80% of the people don't even know where they're bugging. I'm just going to go to the woods. Well, I've got property, and it's like, you better not show up out in the woods on my property, bud. You better have a good place of where you're going and everything.
Yeah.
But I totally believe in bugging in because you have the defensive posture for you, the odds are for you, everything. You got your gear, you got everything for you. Strengthen and harden your castle and do it. And so
here's where I developed, because I'm always trying to teach at the everyday Joe or Joan level, because I'm not interested in making the next Bear Grylls or Cody Lundeen or Dave Canterbury. I want to help you be the best you can be. Mm-hmm. And so I teach at a level that everybody understands, everybody can do it. And what we learned from the pandemic is probably 90 to 95% of the world they bugged in. They just stayed where they were. And about only 5% or less of the world's populace can truly go out and bug out. Because most, like you said, when they bug out, they're just going somewhere else to bug in. And when you are truly bugged out, that means you're going on the ground like a locust and able to survive off the land and keep going. That's what made Naked Afraid so appealing to me, is because you hear these guys all the time, oh, I can survive with just a knife. Oh, really? That's bull hockey, because it's very difficult to do, and I can do it. But it took me a long time to get to that level to be able to do that. And if I have my choice, I'm still going to the woods with a bunch of gear. So my theory is I came up with the ultimate bug in and home defense guide. It's a great guide. I mean, you can get into the weeds on this stuff. We give you a lot of planning considerations, gear considerations, things to think about. And then you can dig in the weeds on your own about the other pieces to it, whether it's about food or defense items or whatever. And we're actually turning it into a book. We're waiting to get published right now. But this guide will take you through all those eaches. And the 5 Ds of home defense is about keeping people further out, before they get into your into your home. So I tell people, have a good place where you feel comfortable. If you've got land, find the right place. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to find land and develop it, and I'll have it. If I have to bug out places, I'm going to have several other patches of land where I'm going to bug out too and base at it until it's no longer viable. But you got to have a good base and fix it up that way. And then, so if you have to leave there, know where you're going, and then hopefully have a bunch of caches and be smart about it. I don't want to have to right off the bat head to the wilderness and just start living off acorns and berries. When you have a plan to bug in, like you said, you can have your food supplies there. You can have your fields of crops growing. You can have your livestock. You can have those things. And you always want to have a way to defend it, because, we've seen the movies out there that aren't so far-fetched about what might happen, like The Postman, for instance. And you may have this, that big group of 300 bandits that are going to roll up on you on horseback and Mad Max vehicles and want to take what you have. And so, that's going to be an ugly scenario. So, yep, that's up there on my website, EJSnyder.com. I appreciate you for carrying it as an affiliate of mine, Ray. And that is a great deal for the price. I also, while I was on COVID, I went to the woods because I don't do well locked in. And I made 11 videos in my EJ Snyder outdoor survival skills series. So you get 14 hours of learning at the basic level. You can watch something I teach you, then go out and try it and come back and watch some more. And you can do it by DVD, thumb drive, or streaming. But I teach you all the basics. I have a video, 3-part videos, 3 videos on just shelter. I have a video on water, one on food, and one on fire. Food can get pretty extensive. I just did a basics on food. And then I did 2 on tips, tricks, and hacks of the trade, 2 on tools of the trade, and then I finished it up with a knife-only scenario video. Amazing stuff. You can get it on my website, EJSnyder.com. And, like I said, I'm trying to teach everybody at the basic level, so you got the skills you need. And you can get the gear while you're there, too.
So, folks, what you want to do is go to EJSnyder.com or go to RaymondMhor.com, look on that right-hand column, and you'll see my video that I'm pushing for EJ, the bugging in video. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting more of his videos up on my website so that you guys can also get them. Great stuff, incredible information, and so I want you to make sure that you have access to that. So, EJSnyder.com.
You sign up with the email. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Ray, but if you sign up with the email, I do a weekly blog. I give out updates. I do video send outs for everyone that's part of the Skull Crusher Nation. And eventually it's going to turn into a membership thing. But we have that for you. And we do members only. Like right now, if you're a part of the newsletter, you get a newsletter sale. Awesome. And so you can go do that right now. As well as right now, folks, this is a Kilted Prepper. You want to subscribe. And you want to hit that like button, and you give us a shout out, and then comment, and then do the share. And then you go over to Survive with EJ, my YouTube channel, and you do the same thing.
Cool beans, bro. Yeah, do that, man. Got me off guard there a little bit. Going back to the Survival Home Gardens, your article was on bugging in. What's your next article going to be, or can you say anything about that yet?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. The next article is going to be a very good one and very important, because as the last leaf is falling to the ground, and even in the country already, we have the white stuff starting to fall. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I did an article on winter vehicle survival. And so with that, it's not so much, it's more about, again, the prepping and planning and getting the right stuff. So I talk about the different considerations for kit that you can carry, the stuff you should always be carrying, but also the winter type things that changes the scenario and what you should have with you. Talk about your vehicle, things you need to consider on that, as well as the actions to take if something goes down. And with each item I talk about, I drag into that a little bit more. So it's going to be a really great article on vehicle survival.
That I'm actually looking forward to that. Originally, I'm from Texas and lived in Houston and everything like that. And so we just moved up here to the Appalachians and Blue Ridge Mountains and everything. So this is our first winter Yeah, so reading that article, I'm looking forward to that. That's something I'm going to be able to use practical application on my own here.
And it's always about, get the gear. Clothing's your first layer of shelter, so you want to be layered, coats, that stuff. So really check it out. It's going to be a wealth of information, a lot of lists in there that you can just, pull up, screenshot, whatever, and you'll have the list and you can just build the kits from there.
Well, something I saw on your website too, while we're talking about your website, is that you offer excursions and
absolutely
go camping with EJ and things. I mean, if you want to take it easy and just hang out and cook some barbecue and everything, you can do that. But also you have some survival stuff. You could even get naked and frayed. You're going to be doing some of that stuff there. Tell us a little bit about some of these excursions that you got going.
Yeah, it's really about adventure and living life and sucking the bone out of life. I offer survival classes from one-on-one to small group to larger groups, and we do round robin stuff for the bigger groups. We do these adventure excursions where we can go backpacking, trekking guiding. You want me to come out and teach you camping 101 or RV 101, that stuff that a lot of people during the pandemic hired me to do because they'd never camped in their life and they wanted to make sure they had the right gear. And we went out there and I showed them how to do those things. We do campfire side chats. Maybe you don't want to take a survival class and you come out and we'll do a few basics. We'll start fire with a ferro rod or whatever. We'll eat some food. We'll, cook some s'mores up. We'll talk story about Naked Afraid. And I always, have autographs and stuff you can buy, t-shirts that go along with it. We offer a Naked Afraid or a dual survival experience. So you can literally, you want to know about Naked Afraid, maybe you want to do it for just a weekend, maybe you want to do 5 days or a week, and you do it under my careful eye with the medics there, and we watch and we film a lot of it, so we'll give you a go-home DVD at the end of it with everything blurred out. But some people don't want to get totally naked, so we do it like nudie underwear. So, you're not really naked, but you can do nudie underwears, and that makes everyone feel more comfortable. So that's normally what we do is put nudie underwears on. And then a lot of people watch Dual Survival, which was a show that I was a part of season 9 with Jeff Zouch as my co-host. And we go out and we set up an excursion. You want to say, I want to have a broken down vehicle excursion. We give you that experience. I've been hired out for bachelor parties to go do some of this stuff. You just contact me at my website, ejsnyder.com. And if it's something you want interesting, I do meet and greets. I do motivational speaking. I come to events to do appearances and I have a booth and I have some of my gear with me that we sell, but we do photo ops and I even do lectures. I'm supposed to be at the 2023 Great American Outdoor Show that NRA puts on in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania this year. And I'll be doing 2 lectures a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon on a variant of topics that cover survival and being prepared.
Now, a lot of my audience just love sharp, pointy, stabby things.
Yes.
And it's interesting. A lot of all my videos that do really well either do swords or knives or other things. I just like that. And so let's talk knives, man.
Let's talk a lot knives. Of your stories, yes.
I see you with the stone crusher or the skull crusher. And,
yes.
Now that's a knife that you designed, if I remember right.
Yes. If you go to my YouTube channel, Survive with EJ, subscribe, please. There's a video on there called the SXB, which is a skull crusher extreme blade origins. And I was a big buoy guy. I love buoys. I've carried them forever. But as in the military, as our kit got heavier, we got lighter. So I took on another fighting knife that I thought would double as a survival knife, and it came up short. It broke on my first challenge. I was never gonna let that happen again. And I went back and I got with Tops Knives and I designed the Skull Crusher Extreme Blade, a modern day buoy knife, but a one tool option that can do it all. When they all said it couldn't be found, it couldn't do it, I created it. I tested over 25 knives to get to this baby, and Tops Knives, they decided to go and help me out and design this baby. It is a big boy, but it does little knife tasks as well as big knife tasks. It's a chopper. It's a small blade. You choke up on it and do small things. It's got a draw blade. Some people say, that's a tracker. It has nothing to do with the tracker. The tracker had zero influence into this knife, although it does fall into the tracker category of knives because of the draw blade and the big belly. Mm-hmm. But I wanted Tops to make this baby. This is a special design. It's got a brown handle. It's got a stone wash. most of them will get a black powder coat on top of it, or a camouflage. It's the most taken out knife on Naked Afraid. Matt Wright, he likes to say that his is, but sorry, Matt, I love you, brother, but yours is probably number 2 if you count up all the episodes. But this baby right here, and Matt's knife's amazing. He's going to make me one. I'm such a knife nut. I want one. But I got it with the Skull Crusher design. This big boy is really a proud piece of work that I designed. I designed the Skull Crusher Extreme Sidekick, the SXS, smaller version of this, 5-inch blade. It's a compatibility blade, but it's a great blade in its own right that goes along the side of this one. And
do me a favor, flip it for me. I saw the skull on the other side.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. You can see how it's kind of worn a little bit. I mean, has this knife been to the field with you on the show or anything?
This one has not. It's only been out there just a few times. It's a brand new knife that I got because I don't ever break them or wear them out, but I gift a lot of them, or I give a lot away in giveaways. If I meet somebody, I'll let them have it. A lot of times when I walk off the show, I'll take that knife and gift it to somebody. Unfortunately, with the Amazon, my buddy Hunter Critchen, who's all DB Hemlock on social media, did a lot of Viking etching for me, and everybody cried when I threw that thing into the Amazon River. But that was a fitting place for that warrior blade. And this blade I've designed back in 2014, 8 years later, going strong, an amazing piece of work. Yep. And they're hard to get a hold of these days because of the supply issues, but you can go to topsize.com to get these things, or just Google it up. And I have my friend, Bernie, Big B. He's a leather worker. He does his Big B's custom leather works, designed this beautiful Mountain Man sheath for me. Awesome. And you can see where you can put a compatibility blade in there. That's one of my other knife buddies, Stroop's Knives. They make these small. They make a lot of nice knives, which I love. And again, I love Bowie knives. So here's another nice, beautiful leather sheath from Big B with got rattleskin on it.
I like it.
He does great work. That's Big B's logo right there. And this houses my collaborated knife, another big boy, a modern day Bowie. It's the Mountain Predator. Look at those mountain ridges. As you can see, we got the mountain ridges there going on this thing. It's got a Viking-like look to it. And this is a guy named Stroop. Stroop's been doing knives for a little over a year, about a year and a half now. Officially, this is his first full year, and he's been winning awards at the Blade Show. He's a veteran. He hires a lot of veterans and cops to work in his shop, and we collaborate on this Bowie knife. The Mountain Predator's on my website, ejsnyder.com. It's a beautiful custom Bowie knife. And I know people will get in the argument, where's the extra guard for the Bowie? And it doesn't have a straight spine, but when you read the definition of a Bowie knife, it does fit the category, but it's not a traditional type Bowie. This I consider a survival combat Bowie for the outdoorsman, survivalist, and the hunter.
Yeah, that's a beautiful knife.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
sharp things.
Yeah, and you it has EJ Snyder on it too, and
I'm sorry. It is my signature series blade.
Yeah.
That I did with Stroop. I think you can see it right there.
Yep.
And then Stroop's got his little logo on there. That's Stroop there. It's probably backwards because I'm on reverse thing here, but
awesome.
I don't know.
It's a beautiful blade.
Thank you. So I'm very proud of that. And I used to write for Knives Illustrated. I used to do knife reviews professionally. I've reviewed probably close to 200 knives in my time. I had a column with them, The Edge of Survival. And, I love writing. I do a lot of writing, not just for us, but for other magazines and my own blog. And I love knives. I'm a knife nut. I've got guns too, but I love it. Like my EDC knife. I used to have a Tatanka from Spyderco, but now I've got the Max 4.
Cool.
Or should be a 4 Max. I'm dyslexic when I speak. The 4 Max. This is from Cold Steel.
Yeah.
Nice thick blade. Fits in my big hand really nice. And that's my EDC carry. And I'm going to do something, I think, with them because I haven't done a collab with anybody on a folder. But when I got this, I was so impressed with the thickness of this blade. Yeah. And most folders, I don't I'm not a fan of because I like fixed blades because mine broke, and I hate when you got mechanisms that can maybe fail on you.
Mhm.
I don't think this can break. I can't wait. I'm going to take it to the field and see if I can do some woodman's work with this thing.
Well, I think that's got the cold steel triad lock mechanism.
Yes, it does.
Incredible. Yeah, I'm a huge cold steel fan, and in fact, when I'm wearing pants, and I don't wear pants too often, I actually do wear kilts almost every day. But when I do wear pants, that's the one that I carry. This is
nice.
the Luzon from Cold Steel. I mean,
yeah,
it's a
beautiful
pocket sword, and they make a smaller version and everything. But I just like big blades, man.
Yeah,
they're just
the
something.
Tatanka was pretty huge, and my friend Darren, but he made an ogre blade, which was the biggest folder I ever put in my hand. It's like a 12-inch blade, really big and meaty on the end. Tactical Combat Tools, TCT. I'm sorry. And Darren Schroy is an ex-SF guy, and he's a former Green Beret. Makes tools here. He's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I carry normally to EDC is this is my little CRKT, and this is called
the
oh gosh, CRKT screw whatever.
Yeah.
I love this little thing. I wear it all the freaking time.
My SXS from Tops is the same way. It's a flat blade, so it fits up to your hip, and it comes with most of Tops knives will come with a nylon sheath. They actually make a Kydex for my SXS, which can be strapped to another Kydex sheath with some zippy ties, but you can wear it inside your pants, and you don't even know it's flat. You can't even tell it's there.
Well, one of my problems, again, wearing kilts and stuff like that, where do you stick stuff? And everything. And so my other one when I'm wearing kilts is I like the K-bar, and this is the Leo. PDK.
Yeah.
And I wear this usually on my left hip. You can do a cross draw with it.
Nice.
Do a left hand draw with it. But I wear this one a lot and everything. And what's great is I kind of wear it almost because on a kilt, you wear your kilt kind of high, and it's got a 2.5-inch belt. And so I needed the big, belt loops and everything like that.
Right.
But it fits just almost right under your arm. Nobody ever sees it. That's
perfect.
I wear it to church. I wear it to Walmart. I mean, I wear it everywhere, and nobody ever sees it.
Yeah,
so,
I just did an EDC Street Smart Survival video about things people can carry, because my folks they're still over near New York City. People getting thrown in subways all the time. Crime is a huge problem in the country right now.
Yeah.
So I talked about smart items you can carry. You got to check your local laws, federal and state laws, but some of that stuff, common items that you can carry if you're not carrying a knife, So I love that. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Holidays is coming up, and I've just been seeing you just push out a YouTube video or something about a Christmas stocking that you've got going.
Oh man. Well, here's the first thing I'll show you is this baby right here. And I'm glad I haven't mailed it out to my business partner to get ready, but this comes with all kinds of good stuff, a knife and everything. This is the Skull Crusher Survival Stocking, and I'm doing a giveaway, folks. So go to ejsnyder.com. Sign up with your email, but you can go to the link in any of my social medias on Twitter and Instagram. It's at EJ Snyder 333, or my Facebook blue check page, EJ Snyder. And there's a link in my bios to get to this giveaway, or go to my video on Survive with EJ on YouTube, and it's in the description. And you go to that link and you sign up for this giveaway. This is $800 in this stocking, whether you can believe it or not, a survival kit for shelter, fire, water, and food and defense. And it's got, look at that, it's got a Grell. It's got an EJ Snyder Outdoor Skills Series video. That's over $120 value in itself. A multi-tool. You can see a snap link out there, a chuck full of goodies, and a good old Skull Crusher patch right there. Oh, man, that's the giveaway. So awesome. You can only get this tan stocking in the giveaway. But after that, I've got two other stockings I have that are for purchase, and they're the mystery stockings. And this is the Badass, and the Badass is chock full of covert gear for that tactical person in your life, and just really cool stuff. You never know what you're going to get, but the lists are on my website, and we fill it up depending on what tier level you get. You know, look at this. It's got the Wazoo Survival Gear Cache Cap.
Mhm.
We have Wazoo Cache belts, and inside my inside the Skull Crusher Survival stocking I'm giving away is a Wazoo Cache belt. So this is the covert, the badass, and then we have the Bushcrafter in the green. And look at that, got a stainless steel water bottle in there. It's got this survival bracelet, got a lighter on there. This is chock full of survival gear. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I mean, look at that. You got that in there. It comes full of good stuff. So make that little crazy outdoor chest out and open fire in your life happy. And you go to my website, EJSnyder.com. We got these these Christmas mystery stockings ready to go. And the supplies are limited, so get there fast or you're going to miss out.
Well, while you were talking and showing the black stocking, the covert one, you have an Uzi pin in the front, a ballpoint pin. I love that thing. I have had one of those for years. They are the greatest pins in the world. I love them.
You got two. You can give one to your friend.
No, I love those things, man. So
that's awesome.
Well,
so that's what we got going on there.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on here. I mean, we spent some good time together. I really appreciate your time.
And then, I just did a video too, real quick, on the dollar store survival kit, because people are like, I don't have a lot of money to buy stuff. And it doesn't matter what your budget is. You can find a way, no excuses. So on my YouTube channel, I talk about going to the dollar store for $25-$30 with a smart plan. You can fill a kit. I'm getting ready in a couple weeks to release the Walmart bug out bag, where you can do it for $100, but I had between $100 $150 budget. I wound up doing a really great one for $165. If you had $200, it'd be amazing. But on my website, I've got several kits already established where you don't have to do any thinking. Great Christmas presents. I have the blackout. This one's the coyote. I have the green bushcrafter. This is chock full of everything you need for survival. And to go along with it, you can get like a first aid kit, or I sell little fire kits with multiple ways to make fire, just in this little pouch here that can fit on your side. It's got Molly. And then we got the water kit with a stainless steel water bottle and a cooking system, much like this guy, where you got a tin cup, you got a stove sleeve. And I always talk about 2 ways to make water, right? And now my YouTube channel, I talked about my 2-bottle system. A Grail, so you have a filter way to make water, and a way to boil water as a backup. Not a single wall stainless steel, not insulated or double wall, folks, because you'll have a problem. But now you have a backup to the backup. So I can boil water and dump it in this. I can filter water in this and dump it in that. It's a perfect system, in my opinion. In fact, that's the last thing I want to share with everybody right there. I've seen Skull Crusher pads right there. Yay!
I've seen your water container on multiple Naked and Afraids, and then I also noticed that Shane was carrying your Skull Crusher knife too, and so
Shane an XL1. He actually had a tracker knife.
Oh, okay.
We had out there, and we were doing them side by side. But you're right. I stand corrected. The second time he went out to Africa, he did have my Skull Crusher, and people just started, falling in love with the thing. You're right. My brother did take it out. As soon as he got back, he bought the Skull Crusher. He was like, nah. And then his wife, Nicole Lewis, took a Skull Crusher out to the Philippines on XL5. The XL's a heck of that SXB is, I'm proud of that thing, just because I created something that I know if you went out with just a knife only, it's going to serve you right.
Yep. No, I'm impressed with that. That's on my bucket list of knives. And I'm on my wife. I like swords too. I got katanas and everything. I got a pile of swords back over there. I got a pile of knives right over there.
I love it.
My wife said, no more knives till after Christmas. Nobody's going to have anything to give you for Christmas if you keep on buying all these knives and swords and
awesome.
stabby things. So I can't buy anything else for a while. But yeah, the Skull Crusher is definitely on my buy list. And then I love that Mountain Predator, man. So that Mountain Predator is
yeah. If you go over to my website again, EJSnyder.com, I've got the Mountain Predator on there. It's a great Christmas gift. I've also carry a bunch of other Stroop knives, veteran-owned company, doing great things for veterans in need that are troubled. He's helping a lot of kids out, getting them in the shop, banging knives out, grinding them, getting them sharp, putting handles on them. He's doing amazing things. He's growing so fast. We've got an article coming out in Knives Illustrated or Knives Magazine. There'll be another one in the Backwoodsman's Magazine. And you can't go wrong. The Stroop they're up and coming. He's an award-winning knife maker in his first year. And I'm really proud to be helping that guy build his business. And he's a good friend.
Cool. So listen, let's wrap things up here and do me a favor. Tell me how people can get hold of you and everything.
Once you go to ejsnyder.com, at the bottom, there's all my links to all my social medias, TikTok, YouTube. And again, on YouTube, it's Survive with EJ. And you can go over there, subscribe, and tell all your friends about us. We're growing. We're going to get ready to do some stuff with Mr. Beast YouTube next year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. And then on Instagram, Twitter, at EJ Snyder 333, Facebook, EJ Snyder. Look for the blue check. I've got 110,000 people in the Skull Crusher Nation on Facebook. Come join us. 200,000 almost over on Instagram. And I'm always posting. I'm right now running a Cameo special. So if you go over to Cameo, get my profile. For everyone that buys a Cameo, for the recipient will get a signed autographed picture from me, no extra charge. Let's just get a holiday shout out. That's going all the way to the 24th. And like I said, you go to my webpage or ejsnyder.com. If you want to get in touch with me, do a contact sheet. I've got a lot of services. Let us know what you're thinking. Sign up with the email. You're not going to want to miss it, because next year we're starting a subscription program, and then we'll be debating. We'll see what we do, but give a life member discount to everyone that's already on our email list to subscribe to get EJ only privileged content, deals, and specials. Mm-hmm. And we're going to set this program up next year, so be looking for it. You don't want to miss the email when it goes out, because we're going to have a limited window, and we're only going to take like maybe the first 500 or 1,000 people that sign in on the Founders Brigade, we're going to call it, that you'll get, you buy out for like whatever, it might be $500, but you're a lifetime member, and you're going to get you're in for life. You don't have to pay the monthly subscriber fee that some people want to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, we love you. We appreciate you having me on today, Ray, on your podcast. And I'm looking forward to being a part of you with this new magazine with Michael Hawk, a great American doing great things. And thank you, Michael, for putting us together to bring this to the people, because it's not about me, not about you. It's about all of you out there and helping you be better.
I'm all about creating allies, not enemies, man. We want more people preparing. Be prepared. So, folks, I just want to thank you so much. I want to thank EJ Snyder for being with us. It's been an awesome 1-hour show, very in-depth interview, covered a lot of stuff, a lot of fun. Make sure you hunt over to EJ Snyder, ejsnyder.com, as well as going to RaymondMhor.com, Raymond, MHOR.com, and we'll see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Do it today. Do what EJ Snyder said. Do it! So, we'll see you.
Do it now! Thanks to everyone for watching us, man. Ray, you kick ass, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Kilted Prepper, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause. Yay! He has a great show. Stay with him. Stay with me. You guys stay out there and stay safe. Get prepared and get ready. Yeah!
That's it, folks. We'll see you. Goodbye, God bless, and kilt on!